So if there's one thing that Democrats have been abundantly clear on in the last, I don't know, year, it's that they really hate kings. Like they're unclear on what constitutes as a king because they seem to think that Donald Trump is like making himself a king even though he's not. But they like had all these no kings protests. They're like, no kings. We don't like dictators. We don't like authoritarians. And so you would think that they would be overjoyed that President Trump took down a major bad guy dictator, right? So I want to actually show you Kamala Harris in support of the president, shockingly, but it was in 2019. What's happening in Venezuela is a crisis. The people who have fled Maduro's dictatorial regime deserve safety and protection. As president, okay, so here's what she would do. I would immediately extend TPS, temporary protected status, to Venezuelans. It's the right thing to do. Americans must show moral leadership in this hemisphere. And then also, the U.S. must immediately condemn Maduro's violence against his own people. There is no excuse for this. The Venezuelan military and security forces must demonstrate restraint. Venezuelans deserve a free and fair election and a peaceful transition of power. Wow. So it sounds like Kamala Harris agrees with Donald Trump's actions in 2019. Like, that's great. We can all agree. Except now that Donald Trump has carried out the most epic military operation ever, she says Donald Trump's actions in Venezuela do not make America safer, stronger, or more affordable. That Maduro is a brutal, illegitimate dictator does not change the fact that this action was both unlawful and unwise. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, you really wanted to condemn him then. So weird how you've changed your tune now. On top of that, let's go ahead and see what Joe Biden had to say on Maduro. Trump talks tough on Venezuela. This was in 2020. Trump talks tough on Venezuela, but admires thugs and dictators like Nicolás Maduro. That must be why he just extradited him in the middle of the night. He loves him. That's why. As president, I will stand for the Venezuelan people and for democracy. Okay. So Trump admires Nicolás Maduro. I mean, maybe that's why he gave him the bottled water. Must be why, because he actually secretly admires him, I'm sure. So Joe Biden speaking of talking tough on Venezuela. Okay. Can we just add that under the Biden-Kamala regime, they actually increased the bounty on Nicolás Maduro's arrest to $25 million as they left office. They increased it right before they left office. But now we're supposed to be outraged that Donald Trump arrested him as they requested. Actually, don't try to make it make sense, because you'll hurt your brain if you try to make it make sense, because it simply doesn't. These people are broken. Let's hear what Chuck Schumer had to say about what happened in Venezuela this weekend.
Do you think it's a good thing that Maduro has been removed from office?
Look, Maduro is a horrible, horrible person, but you don't treat lawlessness with other lawlessness, and that's what's happened here. The American people this morning, George, are scratching their heads in wonderment and in fear of what the president has proposed. The United States will run Venezuela.
Ooh, it's big and scary and mean and Donald Trump, orange man bad, except there's a problem. Back in 2020, Chuck Schumer was complaining that President Trump wasn't actually doing enough to end Nicolás Maduro's regime.
He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
They're really they're such bastards. They're such evil bastards to condemn him, to criticize him for not doing enough. And then he literally did the most epic thing and brought him here to be arrested as you guys were criticizing him for not doing. And now that he did the thing that you pushed him to do, you're like, oh, you can't do that. I mean, it takes a special level of evil to do that. And I mean, and they know. They know. They've been talking about this for so long. They know what they're doing. They're just bad people. Speaking of bad people, one of the worst ones on this issue is Chris Murphy, because Chris Murphy has been calling for the United States to intervene in Venezuela for actually a very, very long time. He, let me give you one tweet here. If Trump cared, this is 2019, by the way. If Trump cared about consistency, he would make the realist case for intervention in Venezuela. Getting rid of Maduro is good for the United States, rather than trying to pretend his administration all of a sudden cares about toppling anti-democratic regimes. So Chris Murphy believes that Donald Trump, according to this tweet, Chris Murphy believes that we should have done what Donald Trump just did over the weekend. Chris Murphy is literally saying we should do it. We should get involved. We should make sure that Maduro is removed. And I'd like to play for you, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Murphy now.
Listen, there are evil, brutal dictators all over the world. That does not give the American president the right to invade those countries. Listen, Venezuela is not a security threat to the United States. They're not threatening to invade us. There is no terrorist group like Al-Qaeda operating there that has plans to attack the United States. To the extent that you care about the drug trade, yes, they produce drugs, but those drugs go to Europe. Fentanyl is the drug that's killing Americans. That's not coming from Venezuela. Venezuela produces cocaine. 90% of it is not coming to the United States.
It's just cocaine. It's just cocaine, you big dummies. It's just cocaine. Oh, okay, Chris, why don't you tell that to the families of the 30,000 people who died from cocaine just in 2023? Would you like to? It's just cocaine. It's not like they're bringing over fentanyl. It's not like they have spies. It's not like they're bringing gangs, illegal gangs to the country. It's not like they're doing that, you big dummies. I mean, like, it's so disingenuous. You almost have to wonder if these are Republican plants to make the Democratic Party look bad. Like, it's just that bad. It's so grotesque what they're doing. It's so grotesque to make the arguments that they're making because they can't give Donald Trump the win. They can't just say he did good. And CBS specifically for months has been complaining about how Trump has been, it's stopping narco terrorists. And now they're literally crying over drug runners being blown up on boats so that they can't kill Americans. They're like crying about these, narco terrorists. And now, instead of a thank you, they're like, yeah, but why didn't you actually arrest more than just Nicolás Maduro when you were there in the 6 minutes that you were there in the most epic military operation ever?
He's still in place. The defense minister, who has deep ties to Russia, $15 million price on his head, he is still in place. I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
I'm confused.
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in power.
It's very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not. And he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base.
Confused.
Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd.
I'm confused. No, you're just evil and retarded, actually. So I would like to just play a little bit of some of these very coordinated and paid for hands-off Venezuelan protests that are popping up across the country. This country, actually, because now leftists actually love kings and dictators. It's their favorite thing, apparently, especially when the kings and the dictators are accused of multiple human rights abuses and they kill their own people. They love that kind of king. They love that kind of dictator. And by the way, hate democracy now. Loved democracy before, hate democracy now. Because they don't want this guy to be removed from Venezuela. They want him to still, basically just have been installed there and just stay there forever. By the way, did I mention Smartmatic? Anywho, let's play some of these retards in the streets.
Would you trade Trump for Maduro?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I think Maduro was democratically elected.
Probably, yeah. Sure.
More than likely, yes, of course.
If there's a Nicolás Maduro out here who's going to bring us to revolution, I will support that movement.
I would rather have a bus driver in charge than a billionaire, okay? Let's put it that way.
Nicolás Maduro could come and be our president?
Yeah.
Oh, any day. Any day. Look, all the check marks are there. He's not white. Okay, he's a minority.
That's on the list
He
of
looks a little
qualifications?
too much like Saddam Hussein, though.
Guys, this is what we're up against. And by the way, the Venezuelans, the brown people that this guy's talking about, they've had enough. They've had enough of these white liberal people trying to explain to them why Donald Trump hates them. Okay, because they're outside court. There were all these liberal protesters that had a march against Trump on this, and actual Venezuelans were showing up, and they were like, "You guys need to leave. You are not from my country. You have no idea what's happening in my country. You have no idea what we've gone through in my country. You are not even Venezuelans. Get out of here." Like, that's where we're at. Anyway, I think it was epic. It was absolutely epic. Don't let anyone tell you that this was an invasion. It was not an invasion. And specifically, don't let anyone call it an invasion who refuses to call the millions upon millions of illegals that flooded our border an invasion. You tell me which is an invasion, okay? You tell me which is an act of war. Infiltrating into our country, bringing spies, bringing criminals, bringing gang members, bringing drugs on purpose, intentionally to harm this country? Or a 6-minute extradition? You tell me. You tell me if this was an act of war, why he got a bottled water and earmuffs. You tell me that, okay? Think about it actually, again, don't think too hard. You're going to hurt your brain. They are not going to make sense. They never will, and they need to be defeated handily at the ballot box in the midterms.